Dina. Hi, my name is Gudrun from GE Designs. Welcome to my live show, Tipsy Tuesday. Hi everyone, welcome to the show, and thank you all so much for being here. It is close to the end of June already. I don't know where time is going, but happy that you're here. Whether you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, make sure you like our page and subscribe to that channel. We are live multiple times throughout the week, so lots of fun content and interesting stuff to look at. So you want to be notified. Join us, join us. Say hi to Mr. HP. He's running the show behind the scenes.
Hey, bye.
Hello, hello. And of course, throughout the show, we want you to stick around because we have a giveaway question at the end. There's a $25 gift card that we give away every single show. So you can win just by commenting and answering that question in the end. And we want you to interact. Some thumbs up, hearts if you like what you're seeing. We love that. Got a very special show for you tonight. I got the 5th installment of my piecing accuracy for my tip of the day. And some good, cool new fabrics to show you, and a very, very special guest that's going to join us live with some fun announcements. So hang tight, everybody. Hang tight. Let's start with announcing our winner from last week. So last week, we, of course, announced our Tilda fabrics that are coming into the store, and the beautiful Tilda patterns and kits that I'm going to stripologize. And so check that out. And I asked everybody, have you worked with Tilda fabrics before? And our winner in the giveaway is... Who is it? Bev Neuenschwander. I hope I said your last name correctly, Bev, but congratulations. $25 gift card is yours. Just email us to help@gequaltoscience.com and we'll get you that gift card right away, right away. Did you see her answer to the question if she's worked with Tilda before?
Tilda fabrics are new to me.
Oh, Tilda fabrics are new to her. I saw a lot of people that said that, but a lot of other ones that have worked with it and absolutely love them. So it was great to hear. So we're excited to start carrying the Tilda fabrics. Get some Scandinavian representation here. We love that. But before we get to our special guest, I want to dive into our tip of the day. So this is something we've been playing now. This is show 5, where I'm talking about piecing accuracy. There's so much more that goes into that final look of a quilt, and what comes into play when we're talking about being accurate in piecing than just your seam allowance. It's not just about your seam allowance. There's all these other things. And I've broken it down. We've done part 1 through 4 in the past few weeks. And so now it's my last segment. Those last little bits. To pin or not to pin. When, how, all those things. So let's check out my piecing accuracy, part 5. In this part 5 of our piecing accuracy and final part, I want to talk about specific techniques and detail work. For example, matching up seams, points, and other things like that. I featured in our pressing segment how I like to press seams to one side so that when I need to fit them together, they are pressed opposite and the seams will nest. What that means is as I put things together, they will go to opposite sides so I can feel those seams nesting together, and then I can make sure to pin those intersections when I'm sewing the unit together so that everything will match up nicely. Now that brings me to this part about pinning. So I am personally don't pin a whole lot, but when it comes to accuracy and precision, I like to pin the parts that matter. These are my favorite pins for piecing. These are the Magic Flat Hat pins. The things you want in a good pin for piecing is a really sharp pin and still substantial enough. It needs to be thin, but substantial enough so it's not going to bend on you, but really nice and sharp so you can easily go through the fabrics. And I love those. I love the flat head. It is, you can iron over these because they are heat resistant, and they're easy to grab with my fingers. So it's not just a ball, so it's really nice to grab. These are my favorite. So what you want to do when you're pinning, and this is something I've seen in classes, is when you're going to pin the seam that people pin like this. So if you were to pin this way, and then you're going to sew here, that's not really going to secure the parts together that need to match. The fabrics can still slide apart even though the pin is over here. You always want to pin across the direction that you're sewing. So if you're sewing across this intersection here, you want to make sure to pin it this way to really keep it in place. Yes, you do need to remove the pin before you stitch over it, but this is important to pin it this way because now these fabrics are not going to move as you go across that intersection this way. So that is number one. Now, what if we're piecing something where we need to match a point to a point, not just intersecting seams? So for example, if we're doing flying geese, what if we wanted to really make sure to match these points? And here is my technique doing that. When you are if you can't, sometimes we can nest the intersections and really make the points come together and just look and see if they are matching and pin it that way. Sometimes I want to get a little more specific. So what I do, I take a pin and I will push the pin right through the intersection where that point of this flying geese is. So I'm going to just stick it straight through, just straight through. So it's really sticking right through there, right at the point, and I can adjust if I didn't hit it. So right at the point that I want to match up. So it's coming through right here. And then I'm going to poke the pin also through the other piece where I want those points to match up. So now the pin is just holding these, just poking right through the points that want to match up. So this is really spinning on top of this. So you want to keep the pin straight through and make sure you are nesting those intersections. Sometimes it's not nesting. Sometimes they have seams that are right on top of each other. But you want to keep this pin straight. Then I take two more pins and I will pin on each side, keeping that pin straight. And not until I have secured each side, I can remove that straight pin through. The reason why I don't just take this pin and flip it is that when you flip it, you actually slide that piece a little bit. So now it is secure. As you sew over it, you can really watch where you want that seam to land so that you don't lose your points. And so this is my techniques. I prefer the 2 pins versus a fork pin because I can have better control on each side where that pin goes in. So that's what I like to use when I need to pin 2 points together like that. The next technique I wanted to talk to you about is whenever you have a bias edge. So for example, here is my Ava pattern, and you start off with making blocks, and then you actually diagonally cut those blocks apart and end up with 2 units like this. So this is obviously cut on the bias. In the pattern, you then go ahead and add a strip that is cut into a parallelogram between those pieces. But this strip is cut on the straighter grain. So it's cut as straighter grain strips and then into the parallelograms. So we know this is the straighter grain here on this side. This is the bias edge because it was cut on the diagonal. So when we are sewing these on, a very good rule of thumb is our rule that we call bob. And that is we want to have bias on the bottom. You want to have the straighter grain, the more stable piece of fabric on the top when you feed this through your sewing machine. And that's really going to stabilize the underside, the bias edge, and you will have no problem. Now, of course, there are times where we have 2 bias edges, so then pinning is going to be your friend as well. But in particular, this pattern, another tip on accuracy is if you have a chance to remove your dog ears beforehand. For example, I like to use my point trimmers for a lot of these pieces. This is a 60-degree point, so in the pattern I advise you to use the 60-degree trimmer to trim both the points of the parallelogram and of this unit. So when it's time to fit these together, I don't need to guess how much of my little triangle needs to stick out here. I can just align that flat edge. It's going to be flat on both sides because I trimmed both pieces, and I'm going to get a really nice and accurate seam, and they're going to be even once I sew these two together. So the third feature I wanted to mention, last and not least, is whenever we make a little mistake and we want to fix it by ripping a seam apart. Now, seam rippers are not all created equal. These are just some of my preferences. I like the clover, or the number one thing you need to think about your seam rippers is it needs to be sharp. And believe me, if you have sewn a lot, your rippers will get dull with time, just like your sewing machine needles, just like your rotary cutters. That is going to get dull with time. So make sure you have always a very sharp seam ripper. Now, I'm not gonna, it's personal preference on what kind of handle, how long, or brand, or other things. Just key is you want it to be sharp. So as you're ripping a seam, one of the things that you want to avoid, especially if you have any bias edges, is, and this is, I've seen this quite a bit, where people pull the fabrics apart and then rip the seam, and pull apart and rip the seam. Every time you pull apart, you are stretching that fabric a little bit, and you want to really avoid that. So two ways I recommend ripping: either pick your seams with your seam ripper, so pick every third seam like this, and then you carefully pull that apart without stretching the fabrics. Or if you have a long seam and you don't really have any other intersections, you can always start off opening your seam. Use that red ball on your seam ripper, place that on the inside of the seam, and then make sure you move your ripper just straight across down, and that will open up that seam without any stretching. You can easily fit things back together, and things, you will probably end up with a really great piece, even though you had to rip it out once. Now, if, for example, you are working on something where you had to rip it out multiple times, and especially if you're working with a bias edge, be really, really careful. It sometimes will get to the point of being really hard to use, because ripping out and sewing and ripping out and sewing is always going to affect a little bit the stretching of fabric. So being careful, having a sharp seam ripper is very important when we need to fix those mistakes. So yes, even though we don't really want that seam ripper to be a part of our journey as we're sewing, it does come in handy. And, you know, whether you call him Jack or whatever, but they do come in handy. But there's a way to use them. All right, so I have some questions. On the Flying Geese unit, do you want to sew with your needle right on that point, or just slightly to one side of that point? So this is a great question, because remember when I talked about if you ever have to draw a line, to not stitch right on the line, but just to hug the line on one side, so that you have a little more room folding that fabric over. The same thing applies when you're doing something like that, sewing to points. So imagine if that point where you want things to meet, you don't want to sew straight across it, you want to just touch it, hug it on that side where you open that or fold that seam over with your pressing. So great question. Thank you for that. Any other questions? Great tips for the seam ripper. Good. It's really, you won't believe how many dull seam rippers I've seen in class coming to class. It's amazing. And it changes your life to get yourself a sharp seam ripper. It really makes a difference. Because it actually makes that part where you really don't enjoy having to unstitch something, unsew something, it makes it go a lot faster. Yes. They can be your friend. That's right, Gail. All right. If you have any more questions, you can post them and we can get to them later on. But I really am excited to get to our guest today. I'm so thrilled to introduce you to an amazingly talented person that I've admired for a long time because she's got some serious sewing skills some skills that I don't really have, but I like to learn. So please welcome Miss Teresa Coates, everybody. Hi.
Hello, hello.
So we have like passing trains at quilt markets and shows and things like that for many years. And so just recently we've gotten to talk a little bit more. Okay, I got to have this in my ear so I can hear you. There we go. This is a bad headphone, Mr. HP. We need to replace it.
Okay.
I know, I'm special. But I am so excited to talk to you because you launched your pattern company, your Crinkle Dreams, not too long ago. Mm-hmm. And you've been sewing for decades.
Yes, so I actually tried to launch it about a decade ago, and then I didn't actually have the skills needed to make it all happen. And so it just sort of sat on the back burner until this coat thing came along. And then I was like, okay, I know what to do. And it all kind of got refreshed, and I launched it right over again last June. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's very exciting, and congratulations. So tell me a little bit about, you've been quilting and sewing, more importantly, for a really long time.
A really long time. So I started sewing when I was just a little kid. My mom sewed, and so she kind of taught me how to sew. And then I took it, of course, in home ec in middle school.
Yep.
And then I just have sewn kind of my whole life. I kind of stopped for a little bit. Long story, but my ex-husband didn't like it. So I kind of stopped sewing for a while. And then when we got divorced, I went full bore. So now it is my life.
I hear you on that one.
About it. So yes,
I've been
sewing for 40 some years now. And I've been quilting since 92 when I was pregnant with my son. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. See, I started quilting. I didn't really sew before. So I am really scared of anything putsy. I did sew in like middle school home ec and got scared when I had to put a zipper in some pants.
Right, like many.
and not happening. So speaking of these quilted coats, so this has been the hottest thing now for a few years. I mean, we've been quilting long enough. We remember the quilted clothing, the vests and the things back in the not even gonna say when.
Quilted coats are not new, right?
They're not new. No, but they're cool. And this has become a mainstream fashion thing. You see it on the runways, and I think it's the greatest thing. It's the greatest thing.
I do too. I love them.
Yes. But your pattern in particular, the elemental coat, I got it. And so this has been something that I've been scared of. And I picked this pattern up soon after it came out. And do I have a quilted coat?
Thank you.
No. I don't yet. I have lots of quilts.
The first step is buying the pattern.
Right. It's the first step. And then I read it over and over. But some of the things I love that you have all the different sizes for any shape and size. And I love that. I love you can have the variety of lengths and styles and a hood and all that stuff. So I think that's really, really fabulous. But I think we should show some of your coats. Teresa sent me a lot of photos, which are so cool.
I did.
Now, Mr. HP, you were oogling over these.
Yeah, I think you should make me one of these.
You made your own last time. Well,
there we go.
Kinda, sorta.
So that's the very first one that I made. So that's actually the coat that started it all.
Can I
tell you the story behind it? Because it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So we were on, I worked for Shannon Fabrics that year, and we were on a road trip across the country, and we were in Virginia, and I stopped to see Sean Kimber, a very talented quilter, and she had tickets to the opening of the gallery that was in Washington, D.C. that had her quilt in it. She said, "Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Of course I want to go. This is amazing."
Yeah.
So, and then I had to have clothes because I really only had like the outfits that I was wearing on the tour, so my kind of uniform for work. And so I decided I needed to make a quilt coat because that would be the best thing to wear to the Smithsonian. And so I talked to my friend Sam Hunter from Hunter's Design Studio, and she said, well, I can give you a quilt. And I said, well, I'm in Washington, D.C. Do you want to just ship it to me? She did. So she overnighted it. And then over the next 4 days, I cut out, redrafted, made some adjustments as we went. And by Friday night, I wore this coat to the Smithsonian opening.
Oh my gosh.
So it was very, it was a very fun experience, to say the least. So this is actually made out of Wild Friends quilt pattern from Hunter's Design Studio. And she actually sent me the cover quilt, and I just cut it up and made a coat.
Now that's a fabulous quilt to make into a coat because, you know, the pattern matters a little bit. A lot of
it does.
Yeah, so that's where I've been stuck for over a year. It's trying to figure out. And I have so many patterns that, But let's see some of these other ones. So it's, yeah, go ahead.
This is another one that was one that Sam Hunter sent me. And I can't remember the name of this pattern, but it's one of her patterns.
Yeah.
And she sent me this to cut up. And this one was kind of fun because the layout was really fun to play with because I had these huge triangles that I got to like lay the pieces out on. So that's what I always do first, is lay it out and figure it out. And then I repurposed the binding that was on the quilt to rebind the jacket.
That's nice.
So everything is kind of original to it.
Oh, love that. Now, I love the hood, too. I think that's cool. Now, this pattern that you used for that one, or the quilt pattern, reminds me of one of mine, which is
oh, really?
Ariel. Yeah, that was one of my retreat patterns last year, and I have a few of those, so maybe that's an idea.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
All right. So then you don't necessarily have to cut up a quilt or have a pieced unit.
Right. Yep.
But you want it to be quilted.
Use yardage with the pattern.
So do you only do this pattern with like a already quilted piece?
No, that is actually made out of a linen front. So the outer part of it is linen, and then I made the inside out of satin, and then I just stuck them together and bound the edges.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it turned out beautiful.
Oh, this must be vintage.
And this one is, that one is a vintage quilt, one that I found at a thrift store. So I don't feel bad if people donate their quilts to me, or if I found them at a thrift store and they've got holes in them.
Yeah.
It's a great way to repurpose them and give them a new life. So
I've
done that on a few of them. Yeah, this one doesn't have any neckline, just a plain neckline.
Yeah, I love the variety of styles.
Yeah, it's been very fun to play with and see what I could do.
Yeah. Okay, so then there's a cropped jacket.
Yep. So that's a cropped one, and that one is also done the same way, where the binding holds the two layers together, basically. Okay. So the outside of that one is actually a mini whale corduroy, and then the inside is a quilting cotton.
Okay.
And it's cropped, so it goes maybe about 3 inches above your waist. So it's quite actually cropped, which looks adorable on my 27-year-old daughter.
Oh, I bet, yeah. And I'm vertically challenged, so long coats make me look a little weird. So this was from another class that I did. And, the jackets that they came up with from the quilts that they made. It was just super fun to do the layout. And you could see that, especially on the lady on the right, that we really did some kind of fussy cutting with hers to make it so that it was mirrored. Yeah, lined up. So how big of a quilt would, so I was reading the instructions. I'm thinking I need to probably make a twin size. Then I'll be good.
A twin size will get you a crop with short sleeves and maybe a hood, but definitely a collar. Yeah. So if you want more room to play, a bigger quilt is better. Yeah, so I always like using a queen size because you have more wiggle room, basically, of trying to put them on there.
I got it. Okay. Now I'm
Which to me is the fun part.
Yeah. But a lap size is not enough. I saw that. That's not going to be enough room. Now, I didn't make it, but Mr. HP quilted a flannel quilt that he really liked and asked one of our in-house seamstress. She made him a vest, and he loves it. But he quilted it, so that's cool. But it was one of those where we had to sew an extra piece because the quilt, it was just a lap size. It wasn't quite enough.
Yeah.
You don't realize really how much it takes. It really does take quite a bit. If you don't sew clothes,
it does.
You have no idea. I'm like, I don't sew clothes. I could probably get away with just a you know, crib, lap. Nope.
Yeah, no, it definitely takes more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Matching
Yeah.
up
So
the,
this one is, go ahead.
is this a Lone Star or is this the one from your particular pattern?
That is from my particular pattern. So that one, my partner quilted it for me, and it turned out beautiful. I'm very happy with it. So that's the quilted element. That is a separate pattern that makes the quilty pieces and then comes together in the coat. And that's really made so that you don't have to make an entire quilt to then cut up and have a bunch of extras.
Yes. Love that. There's some fun.
A couple more.
Okay. Hawk is wearing, ooh, I recognize that fabric.
Yeah, that's Juicy
That's,
Juice.
Juicy
It's the
Juice,
sleuth fabric. It's the cheater.
Yeah. We had some of
Yeah,
this.
just awesome.
Yeah. We have a few
Yeah, cheater cloth is
cheaters
the
like
best
that.
for this too.
Oh, I just learned you're not supposed to call it cheaters anymore.
Oh,
I guess that's,
what are we supposed to call it then?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna call it cheater until they tell me.
Pre-printed pieced fabrics? I don't know.
I don't
Oh, these are cute. So I like that crop. So that's got a little collar. That's cute. The one that you're wearing.
Right, so that's the hip length. So
Okay.
she's wearing the full length and I'm wearing the hip length.
Oh, that's a good comparison just to see. And then her collar is totally different. Is that just because of the hood? Like the
She has a
fold
hood.
over?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So it's interesting how it makes a little lapel without being
Yeah.
difficult. And I like the way that it shows the lining. So on that one, she used a cuddle backing, which was really beautiful and perfect for the
Oh, nice.
perfect for the lining on that one.
Ooh. Cuddle back.
That one's
now
just
you got
denim.
me thinking. Now you got
Yeah.
me thinking. Okay. And then this is just flannel.
Denim and wool.
Oh.
Oh, and then linen for the inside of the hood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It turned
Super
out beautiful.
cool.
I'm very happy with that. And the top stitching just kind of nailed it. Yeah.
Yes. Now, some folks have probably definitely seen some of your tutorials. Like you said, you work for Shannon and Cuddle for a long time, so a lot of sewing,
Yeah.
great sewing tutorials. We've definitely watched tons of them. Playing with our Cuddle. Oh, that's so sweet. I love that little crop jacket. That's cute.
It's really cute.
Looks great on her.
And that one is actually made out of cantha cloth.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So that one is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Very,
and light,
and they're fun
probably.
because every one of them is so unique.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my little vintage
That's
one.
your vintage
Very
one.
happy when I finished it. Can you tell?
Yes.
Very happy.
Oh,
So this is another one that was from a class, and she actually used a bedspread that she had found at a thrift store because she didn't want to invest in it and see like that she didn't actually like it. Turns out she loved it, and it turned out super cute. So she did the full length sleeves and the crop jacket, and it looks adorable on her.
that is
I
cute
really
on her.
loved it.
Yeah, and that's a really cute fabric. Okay, so I got a question. With a binding, like in your patterns, you just need an X amount of bias binding. Obviously, you can make it easy, but do you have people
Right.
coming up with just like store-bought, binding, or do you have a certain width that you prefer because of the quilting?
You can, but yeah, I really prefer to make it to suit the jacket itself. We've had people use it from the store, like the pre-bought stuff. If it's not made from quality quilting cotton, it's not going to feel as nice.
Yeah.
And I usually cut mine at 2 1/4 is what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then I do it all in the bias.
perfect. I got plenty of scraps of 2 1/4 bias binding.
good.
That's awesome.
We're going to get you
Oh,
there.
Yes, definitely. Oh, look at that.
Here, yeah, here's another one full
From a
of
class?
all sorts of ones that, yeah, from vintage quilts to quilts that they'd made. You could see there's a couple of wild friends in there that they made their own version of that jacket.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a very fun class. I love seeing how they turn out all so different.
Yes, that's the best part. That is the best part. Ooh, full on cuddle.
Full on Luxe Cuddle, super thick and plush. And that one is a cropped one that I can actually wear and looks really cute with a little black dress for a dinner out.
Oh,
So,
I can see that. Yeah.
yeah.
Now you got
That
me
was very
thinking even
fun.
more. Okay, so let's talk about the most amazing thing that we wanted to announce, that you're coming to GE for FanFest.
Yes.
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 So excited to have you here.
Very excited.
So
Thank
Teresa's
you.
coming in September to FanFest. She is going to be, on Saturday during the big tent sale. She'll be demoing, answering any questions on her jackets. She's going to have her patterns and all the tools and stuff. Now, little known fact, she now works for Annie's Patterns as well. So we're going to have a trunk show of Annie's stuff as well. So I'm sure she can answer a couple questions on that.
I'll answer all the questions.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I'm so excited. But the best part is Sunday after FanFest and Monday, full day elemental coat class. I think we have half of the staff here that's going to take the class, honestly. I told them we got to leave the spots open for the people first. But anyways, somebody's asking what's Cantha cloth.
So Cantha cloth is generally made from saris in India, and they re-sew them, and then they sew them together in big stitching.
Yeah, big stitch quilting on it.
Yeah, it's big stitches, and the edges are all finished, and they're very fun. They're generally 3 layers of like almost a gauzy fabric. They're really, really lightweight, and they're really lovely to play with. They have such interesting designs, and they're all mixed up and pieced, very fun. So yeah, you can find them. I don't know if you guys carry it, but a lot of places do these days.
Yeah. I've seen those at the shows, and they're always packed. The booths are always packed. But yeah, so we'll have 2 full day classes, and we're going to focus on the coat. So folks will bring their either quilt or just quilted pieces or whatever else they want to use for
just
the coat.
fabric.
Find a bedspread at Goodwill or whatever, and then we'll cut it out and bind it and get really far. I love that we can get pretty far in a day.
We almost always finish or nearly finish. Like the last part of getting the binding on, a lot of people often want to hand sew that on.
Yes.
And that's the way I prefer to do mine too. So you take it home without the binding finish,
Right.
but it is definitely wearable by the time you leave.
Yes. Love that. Now, do you do any like tailoring for each person as you're sewing sometimes?
We can do some
bits.
customization, and there are a few other little things that we can do a little differently. I've just developed another tutorial for doing welt pockets, and we have one for patch pockets as well, so you can kind of change the pockets. The pockets in it are inseam pockets, which I really like, but not everybody does. So I came up with a couple other variations. So some of that will get to change, just like you get to choose if you want a collar or a hood or none, or whatever length. All of those are choices.
Barbara's asking, does it take 2 days or 2 different classes? No, it's a single day, and so we're doing 2 sessions because I just know we're going to fill up the one right away. Yeah. So we wanted, since she's coming out, to really give everybody a chance to take a class. Yeah. But yeah, we're very excited. So if you are coming to FanFest, this is going to be September 15th and 16th on the classes. The tent sales on the 14th. The patterns, we do carry the coat pattern in our store, but let's give everybody Teresa's website. So that is crinkledreams.com, and so that is not just this one. It's also if you wanted to piece it all with the quilted elements and all your stuff. So we're very excited. Any other questions that pop up before we say goodbye? I missed that one. Will it be virtual? No, so this is just the in-person class. But, we'll take some videos and share for sure from the Saturday and the Q&A and stuff, which I think will be great. Okay, any other questions? You see, Mr. HP? Well, it was so great to have you, Teresa. I am so looking forward to having you in-house, and I'm gonna get my you-know-what together. Either find a quilt, piece it, or whatever, and I'm gonna have a coat before the end of the year. That is my goal. Yeah. For Quilt Market.
Okay. We got this. Okay. All right,
I have
we'll
kind
get
of
you finished.
a cheater. Kind of.
I love that.
It's just a sweatshirt. I didn't make it.
It's very pretty, though. It's okay.
I can kind of,
you don't have to make everything.
Go like from a distance. She must have made that.
We won't look too close.
No, I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Teresa. Like I said, check out her website. It's fabulous tutorials on YouTube. But we will see you in September. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you then.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody, for that great interaction, great questions, and making her feel so welcome. We are so excited to be trying something new and doing something different. And getting the expert is always the best way. If I don't know how to do something, I will call my friends that I know got all the tools and skills. So anyways, let's move on. I just want to remind you on a couple of things. So first off, thank you all so much that have pre-ordered the book already. Stripology Quickies is off to the printer, and we're so excited to see that all come together. Now it's kind of the countdown on until we get it in hand. But if you pre-order, you of course get the Mia pattern instantly as a PDF download, whether you order the printed version or the PDF. So I know a lot of you international customers prefer the ebooks, and you still get the Mia pattern early if you wanted to try that. And if you order the printed book, I of course will sign it for you. And our stores that are pre-ordering the book from us, I will sign those books as well. So if you have a local quilt shop that wants to pre-sell the book as well, let them know to contact us. Speaking of the book, I've had a lot of questions from everybody, and I just wanted to, if you have any questions on the book, I have this idea. Maybe I'll throw this out there. How would this be interesting if I did a little lecture on kind of the behind the scenes, what goes into the book, like little tips on the techniques in the book, stuff like that, a little Q&A session maybe? Well, let me know, and if you're interested in something like that, we might be able to put that together as we anticipate the release, as we count down to getting it in our hands. So let me know.
Could you stand up a little bit and step back so I can see your shirt better?
Oh, okay.
Not too far. Okay, great. There you go, everybody.
It's really just sweatshirt material, so it's really comfortable. Should I be advertising to tell everybody where I got it? I'm sure you can find it. Anyways, tomorrow morning, if you're doing our class packs, volume 3, the first video goes live tomorrow morning, Prisms, part 1. We're so excited to get started on this, our third session of class packs, and I can't wait to continue on with my Prisms. So, yes, those of you who've been waiting for a while, get ready. And those of you that haven't signed up, you can still join us, because remember, you can have those videos. You will have those videos forever, so you can do it whenever time allows. So excited for that one. But I have a lot of brand new, yes, on a behind the scenes. Yes, okay, great. So we have a lot of new pre-orders in the store. I've been ordering a lot of fabric, and so we thought we would list some new pre-orders. So some of these won't be shipping until pretty late in the year, but our pre-orders always, if you order a pre-order half-yard bundle, you get $5 off. So it's a way to kind of plan your purchases. If something, you really know you want, you can plan that ahead and place that order as a pre-order. Now, make sure you check the expected delivery time, and only place those orders together that ship together, because we won't ship it until that last thing comes in. And sometimes when stuff comes in, it sells out really fast. So it's just a way to get ahead of the game. All right, so let's start with this one. It's called Berry Market, and this is by Riley Blake, designed by Beverly McCullough, and I really love just this blue color story, lights and darks. So we have the teals and aquas, and then into the blues and navies with just those sprinkles of red and pink that I thought was so pretty together. So this is just a monochromatic, but with a little bit of a twist. You can do great patterns that need that light and dark feature. So then next up is from Northcott by Deborah Edwards and Melanie Samra. It's called City Harbor. very classic, their style, but I love the city harbor feel. There's just not too much. There's like one print that has boats, but most of the other ones are just textures and cityscape, and I really love that mixture. And of course, the colors are gorgeous. And from the same designers, a little bit different colorway called Highland View. So this has a lot more nature, some trees. I do believe there's some deer in there, but really gorgeous colors. And these lines always seem to fly out fast, so a great way to pre-order some of those. Then we have another line from Northcott. This one is called My Type, and it's all typography. Nina Jurek is the designer, and you know my love for typography. There are some other just textures mixed in. I try to mix in some textures, but I love that typography they're all different. They're different scale, different spacing, so these will all go great together. I just think this would be such a fabulous fabric to use for authors, writers, teachers, anybody that loves books and writing. So I love it. And I love the colorway as well. From Riley Blake, we have a classic combination of the beautiful greens and purples, a little bit of lavender, and this is called Plum Petals by Diane LeBombardi. I hope I probably butchered that one, I'm sorry. But beautiful classic style. I loved mixing in some of the florals and with some of the just tone on tones. It's going to be a nicely balanced bundle with just two colors. Easy to get some great contrast. Another Northcott. This one is called Retro Vibes Canyon. So you probably remember her Urban Vibes, Linda Ludovico. I love this. I think this is so just rich. So we have this line. We decided to do two bundles because I just love the graphic nature of the prints. Very geometric, and this is the warm colorway with the browns and the taupes. And then we have the more black, so a little bit cooler, but still very monochromatic creams and grays and blacks. And I love both of those. So Retro Vibe Slate and then Retro Vibe Canyon. So that's the two colorways. And then we have one more, Tranquil Tides by Tim Parker, also on Northcott. This features some beautiful, I think it's cranes, sandhill cranes in there. But I just love the colors. Very rainbow effect, sunrise, and just those beautiful teals and aquas in there. Yeah, excited for this one to come in. And then one more from Northcott. This one is called Eagle Pass. Features, of course, a little bit of the bald eagle, but again, beautiful naturescapes, textures, and I love those colors. Teals, aquas, natural taupey browns, and a little bit of dark brown in there. So gorgeous, gorgeous fabrics. Lots of inspiration to make things from the new book coming up. So I wanted to mention when I showed you that toweling tutorial for the hanging towel, we had just gotten in some new toweling and it sold out right away. So I just wanted to let you guys know that we restocked whatever we could restock, whatever they had, and then we got a couple new ones. Those retro towelings that are so cute and just remind me of something that my mom had in her kitchen way back in the day. We have this one is called the Lemon Delight. So the toweling again is hemmed on two sides, and we have 3.5 yards. So it's a great way to make. You can make not just towels. You can make table runners, napkins, and fun stuff. But great way to make some great gifts. The other one is called the Patriotic Pinwheel. So it's a different from the other Patriotic one, just has the really cute pinwheels and the stars in the middle. So these two are the new towelings, and then we've restocked some of the other ones, the holiday ones. All right. Now let's take a look at a brand new line of fabric that just came in. This one is called Patch of Sunshine. And I love that it has a little bit of a retro vibe to it and with the flowers. So this is kind of a grayish background, but I love the lime green, the yellow, and a little bit of tangerine color. So we're starting here, bringing in some more lime green. Love this print. So this is a 12-piece bundle going into a little bit of a stripe action with the flowers though. Really pretty little white daisies all lined up in a row. And then we have a small floral, white flowers, and a little bit of a darker green. I love the dimension because there is that darker green here with the lime. And then we have that main print again with the lime green base, adding in some of the tangerine and the yellow. So then we bring in that color here, a little tone on tone that I added for some calmness, this beautiful dry brush. And then we have the stripy flowers in the light tangerine color. And then the small floral with the white flowers going a little bit darker here again. Bringing us into the darkest hues in here, the grays. So we have this beautiful floral, smaller flowers in bunches on. This is a very warm charcoal background, so not quite black, I would say. We have the small florals, but the flowers are yellow and the leaves are green. Beautiful. And then we have this really awesome geometric print with a flower in the middle and a little bit darker hue. And then finishing it off with another dry brush in the charcoal gray. So we have the 4 grays, then the orange and the green colorway. So beautiful patch of sunshine. For my color pool, let's start here on the dark end, going fully black with a grunge in the black dress for the darkest parts. And then I have bumbleberries in the black, which has a little bit of the gray parts. For the tangerine, we have the dry brush and the goldenrod, which is that same print. Beautiful, beautiful tone. Moonscape in the marigold, so a nice golden color again. And then for that lightest tone, this one was perfect. The cross stitch and the apricot worked really nicely for that one. For the greens, we have the canvas in the kiwi color for that bright green. And another bright green would be the dimples in the sprig. So it has just both the dark and the light in here. And for some of the darker greens, I chose the shadow blush in the leafy green, which is a nice medium green that goes well with all of those. To match that gray in the background here and the gray in the leaves, I chose the dreams in the gray, a perfect match with that tone. So a nice addition if you wanted to add a little more gray in here. For a background, I'd probably go white because I think these colors would be really nice on a white background. So I chose the grunge white paper. It has just a little bit of gray, so that will go well with the black and gray here, or the spectrostatic in the mimeograph. So it has just some black specks, but it would still look really great in contrast with all the other colors. And so either of those would be great as a background option or a focus print. So Patch of Sunshine, 12-piece bundle from Wilmington. Yes. That is our new fabric today. Now we, of course, will have Colleen here tomorrow morning with her 1 Yard Wednesday show. Some great specials on 1 Yard, some great ideas on how to use those fabrics. But we're going to finish off with our giveaway question. So, of course, based on what the show was about, have you ever made a quilted jacket or a coat? All you got to do is answer that question in the comments, and we'll automatically enter you for the giveaway, which will announce the winner on our next show, Tipsy Tuesday next week, which is July 2nd at 4 p.m. Central. And then we will be live this coming Friday, June 28th, for our Happy Friday show at 12 p.m. Central Time. Now, make sure if you are thinking about joining us for FanFest in September and want to take one of Teresa's classes, sign up on our website. You can choose to bring your own sewing machine or sign up for one of our machines. The Chorus Baby Lock machines are, of course, available, but in a limited fashion. So check that out right away. I know they're going to fill up fast, but this is our show tonight. I hope you enjoyed it and have a wonderful rest of your evening and rest of your week. We'll see you later on. Bye.